This would have run diagonally through the center of the car. Sorry, 90 degrees to the tracks. These are the truss rods. These are the king posts for these truss rods. These would have been steel rods that were triangulated from the end beam, from the bolsters, down to this point to triangulate to keep the strength in the wooden car.
Oh,
so that
I
would
see.
Be what that was.
Okay.
And then this here, so these rods would go through, likely right here. This is the bolster of the car. This is the outside of the car. The sills went this way. Down in the center there is the center pin where the truck with the 4 wheels would have pivoted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. That's
so
right.
This is where the truss rod would have gone through. That round rod would have been tapered and then gone in a triangle to support that, give the strength to the wooden car. Which is very, very, very cool. So I'm guessing, because there's a few of these, that those are the hopper doors. They were probably wood with a steel frame.
Could be, yes.
There's a lot of pieces buried here, like you said in your article. I think that's probably too light for boilerplate. But
yeah,
it's
I was thinking of that too.
The cars
could be part of the cars, or
the car maybe
or
been sheeted with metal so the ore wouldn't have beat up the wood. That's a complete guess. So I would say that this is, let's see for sure until I take a look, but this could be like the center of wood, part of the actual truck where the wheels were. A lot of the parts were wood back then, but...
Oh yeah. The main engine, they probably salvaged most of it, right?
I think you said they rebuilt it, and I think they did. So they probably would have taken everything they absolutely could. And it sounds like, from your description and your research, that they if they rebuilt it, and it sounds like when the crew jumped, they probably knew enough to turn the pressure down and turn the valves and put it in. Well, it sounded like you put it in reverse and strip the gears out of it.
Right.
But if they reduced the steam pressure when it fell, it probably wouldn't have had a boiler issue. So if the boiler's good, then most of those components were probably available.
See, because it happened like quite a ways back up there, but I guess there must be a little bit of a corner there, and that's where she flipped.
Yeah, when you look at the picture, and the engines on it all piled up, and the caboose and the last cars are just fine. So
yes.
It wasn't,
that bad.
That fast, I guess. But if they could say there was 24 cars, there was a lot of material stacked up there. There's lots of neat stuff to see, that's for sure.
A lot of the stuff here is buried quite deep, eh? Look at some guys been
Rooting around.
They must have found something here.
The galvanizing on that bucket's better than when the bucket you buy at the store now.
No kidding, yeah.
So I would say these large rods are the truss rods for... See, they go through, again, I'm just sort of guessing here. So what happens here is this would be the end plate of the car.
Right.
On the outside. So you'd have four rods to reinforce the car, 2 on each outer side.
Uh-huh.
So these would be sandwiched between wood. This would be up against this. This wood end sill would be here, and then it would come across, the coupler would be here, and then the other side would be the same.
Oh yeah.
Down through.
Wow.
And I'm thinking those wood pieces with the sheeting is probably part of that sill of another car.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of cinders here, eh?
Yeah.
Like burnt material. I wonder if the locomotive was like,
On the
'cause
side.
wasn't on its side with the front pointing
It was
that
kind
way?
of tilted, wasn't it?
So if it was sitting here with the firebox here
Yeah.
where everything came out of it, that's been out in the weather for a few years.
Yeah.
That would be coal from the bunker, probably from the locomotive, I would guess. See, this is some of the same pieces we're seeing here.
Uh-huh.
Does that piece still have red paint on it?
Looks like it.
So that's a good chance. I mean, that's very old. I mean, when did this happen? 1904?
Yeah.
But most cars in those days were painted that railway oxide red,
Exactly.
full of lead. Probably that's why it's still there. That's a real guess if that's what it is, but it sure looks like it.
It sure looks like it, don't it? Yeah.
So again, by completely guessing from the picture, with the boiler front facing that way,
Right.
and all this burnt material here, that the firebox, it landed on its side,
Landed
and all the
over
ashes were out of it here, and the little bit of coal that's there, they probably would have picked it up, but I mean, most of it. But
Wow, that's right.
so the bunker, the fuel bunker, was right behind the cab, and it's hard to say where the tender with the third truck was in that big mess. And that, to me, that looks like it's been subject to heat a lot. Just a
How
guess.
rusted it is, yeah.
Yeah, so it might have been part of the, you know, the firebox.
The
the
firebox,
grates
yeah.
out of the firebox. But
Yeah.
rail, it didn't make it through the.
Yeah.
On a steep grade, they would want to back down and go forward uphill. So it's possible the engine was actually backing down and went off this side, and then everything, then the boiler ended up on this side.
Oh,
But that's
okay.
a complete guess.
Yeah. That's a pretty heavy-duty plate right there, eh?
Mm-hmm. It's almost like they buried. It was practice to leave stuff in place was to bury it, so you wouldn't
Yes.
necessarily see it.
And a lot of it is just starting to show after many years.
It's amazing they left a rod sticking out of the ground. Maybe somebody grabbed it with a machine.
Yeah.
So that's a hinge of some sort.
Right.
So that looks like it's the same frame that we're seeing down there,
Uh-huh.
which would have maybe been a wooden hopper door with a metal edge. And then this would have been the hinge for dumping,
For opening it, yeah.
which would have been on a ratcheting chain type thing. And again, that's I would say another truss rod, but bent right out of shape.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need the metal detector here, you just go start digging. So, like you say, if this is coming downhill, oh, there's more stuff. that red paint, I think, on there still. Looks like.
Uh-huh.
That's the same thing. There's the truss rod. This would have been the. Looks like the truss rod here. That might be pivoted around. Hard to exactly say, but like I say, I think that it might not be. It might just be rust, but it looks like that same red paint.
I really don't know if I have. I don't think I have a picture of that.
Again, this is a mate to that one right up there with the flat showing with the pieces coming out of it.
Uh-huh.
It's just this is the bottom side, so the car truck would have been held on with this pin. So this is upside down, and then these here with the little rollers in them would have been to take the load of the car on the actual truck.
Right.
So, and these pivots, I'm not sure whether that's part of the brake system or not. But very, intricate castings for sure. And then these are attached, would have been the way this was held on. I don't know if you can get back here and look. Maybe I'll trade spots with you if you want. Again, this is just an amateur's point of view with it.
No, that's...
But this mount here is the wooden beam, side beam of the car would have been right here, and this would have clamped on top of it. So it would have been sandwiched in here, on top of this, and this would have sandwiched on that, and these would have gone up through the sides of the car to reinforce the sides of the car as well.
I see.
All tied together.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to find a picture of something that would have been similar up close in a book and send it to you.
Yeah.
So then you can pick these pieces out. But I imagine what's buried here is also like the parts of the car truck, like where the wheels and axles would have been. Where it would have been mostly wood with some, the axles would have obviously been steel and the wheels and the hardware, but a lot of it would have been wood. The center beam, I think that piece up there is likely the center beam that would have been supported, would have had the opposite to this, but I'm not completely sure. So these holes in the bolster would have been for the airlines or for the truss rods to reinforce the car. Wow, impressive. Thanks for showing me this. This is awesome.
Not a problem. I just enjoy it just as much as you do.
So they were outside framed cars, and those were the blocks that held the rods to keep them tight. But one would have gone into a square corner, and one would have gone into the 45-degree timber corner. So it was all pre-framed. So for the strength.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just starting to get what we need to have a picture of each car. Like I say, if I find them, I'll send you something.
And that's similar to that one over there.
Yeah, but that one's got extra 2 bevels.
Right. That's quite a ways away.
And there's, see how heavy those bolts are? There's a pair there. Yeah, this lump here might be rock by your toe.
Yeah. Here's another one. Look at that broke. That snapped right off.
Yeah. And I imagine in those days when that happened, I mean, they wanted to get the line cleared off as fast as possible to get the ore flowing, right?
Oh yeah, right away.
Climb up, but it's
or like a step.
just a strap, yeah.
Yeah.
But it could be just anything. But it's funny that it's the right shape and the right size.
Right.
The brake hanger, brake system.
Yeah.
Pipe. bottom side of it, but it looks like it's broke right in half, but I could be wrong.
Oh yeah.
There's the outside edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is probably the I'm not 100% sure what that. I was going to say that it would be the bolster of the truck, but I'm not 100%.
Mhm.
This I think is part of a truck. So the wheel, the set of 4 wheels. So this is the frame.
Uh-huh.
But it's heavy enough. It is heavy enough, and I'd have to measure something of the same era that it could be actually be part of the, because the Shays were basically had their own trucks. This could be the frame of the locomotive, like the locomotive truck. But I don't know. It is heavy. It seems heavier than it should be for the trucks. But anyway, that's definitely part of the wheel set. So the axle journal would have bolted in here, and there would have been a similar piece here, and there would have been springs or a spring.
Oh yeah, I see.
Here.
I know I get you now. Yeah.
I'll send you some pictures of.
Yeah.
If you look closely at the Shay pictures, you could tell. I don't know. It's very heavy, but I don't know if it's heavy enough to be for the locomotive. But it's in the right spot.
Uh-huh.